Why are you doing that? When all you have to do is just change your mind, and you've been changing your mind since you were foot off the floor. I mean, come on. Thinking about what? Lovely and a good report, well, fine. Expand, expand, expand on it. But if you're thinking negative, you don't want to expand on that. You let go and you can't let go with a fist. You can't be in that mood and expect it to actually gain any ground. When you're in that mood, you're losing ground. Believe me, you are. Because, like I said, whatever thought you're thinking starts drawing to it like matter, doesn't it?
It does, automatically.
Yeah, and that's another word, too. Well, believe me, everything we're telling you is automatic. Understand? If you do this, this happens. If you do that, that happens. It's all on automatic. So if you feel you're being distorted in any way, it's you distorting yourself by thinking other than that you're in control, because you are. And it's not moderated. So in other words, you can go completely crazy if you want to. Go wild. And that's what happens to these people who take guns and go out and shoot people. You see, they're watching it on TV. You see, everybody's shooting everybody, so they think, oh, hell, might well join the crowd. See, that's it. And you can see every word. You understand that? It says every word must be accounted for. Every word. Come on. That's just sit and think about that a minute, and it'll drive you crazy for a while. You're thinking, wow, I didn't know. That's right, you don't know. But if you don't be quiet long enough to know, then you can just keep going on with what's going on. You're part of the world, and you're told, be in the world, but not be of the world. And it's being of the world, which is every disease and horror you can imagine if you're thinking like the world. Well, look at what's happening in the world today. Bombing, killing over and over. I mean, whole cities flattened out. What are they thinking? They're not thinking well, that's for sure. And they're not thinking about the people who kill it. But why are they? Why does everybody want to be at war? I just don't understand it. I see it acted out on television so much. Have you noticed how every show is a cop show or a detective show or let's go get them bad guys show? And what happened to comedy? I mean, and when they do show something comedy, well, you're going, oh, this is like, there's some good writers in there, but they have to have some bite of work. Good writers out there, but they have to have someone buy their work. And if everything is gun shooting and that, well, then they ain't buying their work. Why? Why not? Why are we drawn to look at the negative instead of the positive? And I know the negative is gigantic. It's kind of a narrow view from a viewpoint of what you're listening to find that spot, that area where you're thinking logically for a change. You're in charge, take control. Because if you don't, the environment's going to take all the control for you and control you in the process, right?
Absolutely. You were talking about what they observed on TV, and you talk about the gun violence and so forth. many of these young people are being programmed from an early age. They're watching video games. They're watching all this violence. And as
And
we tell,
gambling.
and gambling. So as you're doing this, you're programming the mind. So subconscious mind can't say, oh, this is fiction and this is real. So that child ends up saying, well, I've been playing this game for so long on the console or the TV. Now let me go play it in real life. And they don't make the distinction and say, these are real people being harmed because you've been so desensitized, so this is what we're dealing with. And you ask about wars, it's because that's what the person that's in charge is giving his or her attention to. So only thing they can do is reproduce what it is that they're giving their attention to. And we see the outpicturing of those thoughts.
Yeah, and is that not all of that the same thing as when you were learning your ABCs? Reiteration, reiteration. And now we're telling you, if you're going to listen to something over and over and over, make it positive. It's that simple. I can't think that. I think everything we talk about here is positive, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, the inside of the stories is all positive, but you have to break through the shell.
Yeah.
See, it's like, well, that is like they have control of your mind by what you're paying attention to. Yeah. And so it says, well, you say that so I'm not saying it at all, really. I'm telling you that that's what you're doing to yourself. You understand? Well, I can watch those same programs, see, but I have a different view of it, you see. Yeah, I can make an excuse about it, I guess, but but no, you have a different view on it. You're looking at these are people who are defending themselves and yet trying to preserve the law. You see, and the other people don't give a damn about anything, shoot nobody. and that's yeah. You remember that Jones thing we trailed everybody off to Africa?
Yeah.
You see, if you get the people scared enough, they'll do anything. If you put enough fear in them that they're being sought out and hunted down, you can drive them to take this. And that's what's happening in our country too.
Advertising.
Fear. Fear always divides the country.
Yes.
See? And that's what's happening. One's teaching fear and the other one's teaching good luck. And it isn't luck at all.
Yeah.
It's thought.
Yeah.
It's thinking.
Fear, it sells a lot better.
Oh, yeah. Positive, yeah. Yeah, it does. And then people wonder why they're in fearful situations. Because as you think you are, you're delivered right into, and you think, oh, I'm not paying any attention to that. Yeah. I wish we could return back to the days of bows and arrows.
I don't know if those days have been so good for me, but those may not have been good days for me. But, a lot of times, as we're walking, like, for example, if I'm walking through the house, because, of course, the political nature of where we're at the moment, my wife likes to watch the news. And a lot of times I'll have to have my earphones in with stuff that's of lovely and a good report to block out all the stuff, because the TV's on blast. I'm seeing these images and it's just a bombardment of this stuff, So I have to consciously make sure that I'm putting into myself stuff that's going to be edifying.
Yeah, it sounds kind of strange, but it, it, it you're meant to test everything you've ever been taught. I mean, that really, because if you're testing it, you get the results, and the results are usually always in your favor if you're in the right mood.
Absolutely.
But hey, what is life? Life on this planet is a mood. How do you want to live it? In a rotten mood or in a lovely mood? Yeah. And see, it's you who has to put you in the mood. You understand? Some people say, well, this puts me in the mood and that puts me in the mood. No, no, no. It's your thought that takes you to that puts you in that mood. And it'll only stay there as long as it has your attention. So you have to kind of lock in your moods and not let what's going on without in your environment set your moods. Because I mean, and just look at what's happening in the world. How can you have a happy mood looking at all of that stuff?
Yeah.
No. It's always up to you. See, that's what God did. When he gave you choose this day, choose your moods.
Yeah.
And you can, can't you? I asked someone, can you make a lovely mood, a good mood? And she said, well, yeah, I can make a good mood. Why aren't you? All the time. Why aren't you constantly in a good mood? It doesn't cost you anything. And it makes life a lot more pleasurable, I tell you. I mean, what we were just talking about, all the negative stuff in the world. If you're in a good mood, you just shove that nonsense aside. But if you pay attention to it, that grows. Whatever you're paying attention to, if it's lovely and a good report, that's wonderful. Expand on it. But if it's not, drop it immediately. And when I say immediately, because I'll tell you, if you have a negative mood, it won't take but a couple seconds before light things come in and justify you being in that mood. And that's what they do. They justify you being in that mood. And then you say, well, I got reason to be in this mood. Well, let's hear the reason. And then they don't know what to say. Hey, I know all the excuses. I had them all. Justifications. I had a whole regiment of them standing at attention, waiting to be entered in. So I know how you could do with justifying anything. You know, you can justify anything if you really want to. I mean, even if it's just a little hair, you can still use it somehow to justify something. And I had, like I said, I had a list already ready, just like a fast draw, you know. And I used them. I did. I used these, and all the time knowing it is an excuse. See, that's the hard part of it to swallow, you know, because you're literally denying yourself and then justifying denying yourself. How's that working out for you? Because you are doing it. Yeah. If you walk around, when you finish all the time, that tells you what you're thinking. Don't see, you won't look in the mirror when you're looking like that. See, do that. That's how we fool ourselves. I'm happy. See me smiling. But that doesn't mean you don't have problems.
Absolutely.
That doesn't mean things don't get tough at times.
Yeah.
But the thing of it is that if you know you're not alone in this fight, you see, because God tells you, I suffer with you. You understand? He suffers what you're choosing.
I had
a half a dozen of Neville's tapes. And I listened to them at least one every night for years before it actually touched base. I began thinking differently. The importance of having a CD, because what has your focus has your life. Think about it. We're not asking you to join anything, but you have to have the CDs. You have to have the DVDs. You have to listen to them. It's you training this. Listen, listen, listen.
But as Mr. Lindell stated, you have to listen to them repeatedly. And again, for those who are interested, click the link below and it will take you to the 4 CD set, and you'll be able to transform not only your mind, but your world.